Riverdale finally gives us justice for Barb. Well, the actress at least. Stay tuned, it's time to talk Archie and Friends with Riverdale recap on Screen Junkies News. It's my most excited day of the year, or at least the week. You know why? Roth's here, I'm here, you're here. We're talking about Riverdale. Episode 3. All right.
I am legitimately this excited.
I know.
Someone out there is going to leave a comment that says fake. It's not fake. I'm this excited.
Yeah.
Why? Because it got real crazy this week, real quick.
So last week's episode ended with Cheryl Blossom saying, "I'm guilty and take me away." And Roth very intelligently last week said, "But guilty of what?" Which is exactly how the episode starts. She is guilty of lying.
Yeah.
We find out that there was a plan. Cheryl and Jason Blossom were going to run away, maybe fake the death. But we also find out that they ran away on July 4th and his body marks him as turning up dead on July 11th.
Right, so
there's
he's
an
been-
unaccounted for week.
Yeah, he's been held captive. She was helping him run away. We don't know why or to whom or for what purpose.
Right.
But we want to know all of these things. But there's so much going on in this episode. That's just one small slice of the juicy episode that this was. Because, and I don't want to get ahead of us, so we'll go bit by bit. But we had some people tweeting with us last week with their fan theories about whodunit.
And this one was amazing.
And this one was amazing. And I can't believe how prescient, because the idea was that Betty is either a twin with Polly, and it's actually not Betty at all, but it's Polly, or split personality, baby. And I'm on the fence on which one I think it is at this point, because if Polly took Jason and held him captive and then shot him in the head, maybe she did the same thing with Betty, but not killed her, but she's being held captive, or they switched and Betty's in the hospital.
Well, so I thought Betty in the hospital. When I heard that theory, I was like, Betty's in the hospital. We're going to figure all this out.
Because she's so nice.
I love the idea, though. With the split personality, it could be something where Betty doesn't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
She doesn't even realize that this other like crazy creature is coming out of her. And as we see later in the episode, when she shows up in a black wig and does
she
some
says, Betty can't make it.
Yeah! Very gnarly stuff. Very gnarly stuff to Chuck.
She was about to kill him.
And Veronica stops.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into more of what the basis of this episode was. So we find out about Cheryl. We find out more about Jason Blossom. Archie is getting into major trouble with Miss Grundy because he admits that he was at the river's edge on 4th of July, but now he's saying he was alone. And we all know that's a lie because he was making out hardcore with Mrs. Grundy on the water's edge. God, I love that still.
Yeah.
But we also have...
It's really inappropriate once again, though.
I know, but man, it's the CW. They gave us Gossip
supposed
Girl.
to be
It's okay.
14.
No, he's supposed to be 16.
He's supposed to be 16.
And he is 19 in life.
But he's a sophomore in high school. When
It's
I was a
very
sophomore in high
inappropriate.
school, I was 14, weren't you?
No, it's 15.
Okay, in any event, he's young. And
It's gross.
It's gross.
But it's also really fun to watch on
it is.
television
It
and when
really
it's
is.
pretend. But what's not fun in any place, in any way, shape, or form is slut shaming.
No.
And that's what this episode really deals with. So Veronica, who is now called V-Lo, or V, goes out on a date with the captain of the football team, Chuck. And Chuck tweets a picture.
By the way, what a perfect name. Weigh in, Chuck.
Chuck.
Right?
Just sounds
For
like
that guy.
Schmuck.
Yeah, schmuck.
Chuck the schmuck. But it's actually Chuck Layton. So they go on a date, and then he posts a photo of her after he gave her a sticky maple, and we never find out exactly what a sticky maple is,
But we can surmise.
you can kind of get. And Veronica is livid because she's like, I am neither a slut nor one to be slut shamed, and I am going to rise up.
Yeah. And frankly, even if she had gotten a sticky maple, more power to you,
That is
Veronica.
her
But
choice.
the point, that is her right and choice. But the point is she didn't, and he's a liar, and he is a sad, sad man.
And he's done this many times before.
And he's done this many times before. And so come to find out, like it's a come to Jesus moment for a lot of people in the episode. Cheryl understands that her brother Jason maybe isn't everything that she thought he was. Polly was in this burn book.
Oh, yeah.
This is probably the thing that sent her over the edge. Betty finds out, she's enraged. And then that leads her to the point later where she basically embodies Polly and near drowns this guy.
While he's handcuffed to a hot tub and she just keeps turning the heat up on the hot tub.
Or boils him to
good.
death
So
like
good.
a lobster. Yes. And he's screaming.
Or a frog.
Or a frog. Either one. Yeah, and it's really, really an amazing moment because once again, you get the sense about Betty that she is totally, completely, 100% grade A bonkers. And it's awesome because at the same time, you're like, yes!
Wouldn't you be crazy? So we find out Jughead and Betty restart the Blue and Gold, which is the school newspaper. And Betty gets all kinds of investigative reporter and starts looking into other people that have been given sticky maples. None of these women have actually been given sticky maples, but they've just, I love that we were talking about this.
Yes, and with a complete...
Hashtag sticky maple.
Sticky maple.
But one of the people who has been slut-shamed is none other than Ethel, a.k.a. BARB, a.k.a. Shannon Purser.
And what's amazing is that this is another moment in the show, and be with me on this. This is clever, you guys, because this show is continuing to bring in and harken back to all the other teen dramas, including a very recent teen drama in Stranger Things with BARB as Ethel. And finally, the world gets justice for BARB, and they even play on that idea. They say it.
They say justice for Ethel.
And then they give it to her in the form of a hot tub and some handcuffs.
I'm telling you, you guys, the show continues to get better and better. And we were also seeing like this real strong relationship that we love so much between Veronica and Betty. And now we're actually getting Jughead in on it too. And now Betty and Jughead are working together at the newspaper. And I feel like these relationships are really crystallizing in great ways.
Yeah, they are. And what's amazing too, one of my favorite moments of the episode is when Betty, Veronica's telling her like, hey, are you okay? Because last night got a little bit weird. And then she's like, oh, I didn't do that. Yeah, girl.
You did.
You did.
Yeah, that's the thing. She doesn't remember.
She doesn't remember
because she goes to another place.
Because it's either Polly, who's so much trying to be Betty because she can't stand herself because she's so filled with the self-hatred that she's getting twisted, or it's Betty getting totally twisted because her mother's so crazy.
Well, and there is also a scene where Betty is putting on lipstick and she says it's Polly's lipstick.
Yeah.
And her mother comes in and wipes it off of her. It's very like mommy dearest.
Yeah.
And she's like, this isn't a good color for you. And she's like, I like it. And she puts it back on as she goes to seduce Chuck so she can get Chuck to the hot tub. It is so weird on so many different levels. We've talked about the Alice Cooper gaslighting.
Yeah.
It's now becoming like a weird abusive relationship too, where she's trying to make sure her daughter only has her as a source of confirmation and love. And it's very twisted. Wait, this brings me back to what if they are like...
In a cult?
No, I'm wondering if there's two people... And they're almost like, it's almost like mom is bringing, I went too crazy and I apologize.
No.
I take it all back.
I love it. I love it. Let's go there. Because here's the thing. I did really think about this because I don't think it can be one person with a split personality because people are aware of Polly, right? Like she exists in the world with Betty. So there is a Polly somewhere. So it's either one of the two that Betty got twisted and she thinks she's her sister because her sister got so hurt and Betty's been trying her whole life to be so perfect and her mother's crazy.
Right.
Or she's switched with the sister and Polly's out and she killed Jason. And now she's about to try...
With the help of Alice Cooper.
With the help of Alice Cooper, potentially. And Alice Cooper is investigating to cover their tracks.
Which I love. I love this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now Betty's stuck. And what's upsetting to me about this idea, the only thing that I don't like about it, is that I love the relationship between Betty and Veronica right now. And that they're soulmates as friends. And then at the end of the season, if it comes out that actually the whole time... it wasn't her, and now they've got to rebuild this entire relationship, and Betty's kind of boring and a wafer. I don't like that. What do you think?
Well, I think that as you're talking about it, the more I feel like unless they make this a self-defense thing for Jason, but you don't shoot somebody point blank at the center of the head in self-defense.
It'd be hard to argue that.
I think that it can't be Betty because, like you said, you don't create Dawson's Creek and then pull Joey out of the mix.
No, you don't.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
So we might be being led astray.
You think that we are totally being led down a fool's path?
Well, or she is guilty by reason of insanity and can get off because she was insane.
And then they're like, we got you, girl.
Well, so the thing I was going to say that I stopped myself from saying is, what is the disease that parents have where they give their children...
Munchausen.
Munchausen disease.
By proxy.
So maybe... Thank you.
Sure.
So maybe it's something where she knows that Polly's supposed to be medicated. She's not giving Polly her meds. So Polly thinks she is Betty, but it's because the mom is manipulating the whole situation.
Love it. Love it.
These are, you guys.
These are the theories.
These are the theories that
These
you
are
can
the
have when you
theories.
watch Riverdale, because
This was
you
such
can
a
go
good
crazy.
episode.
This was such a good episode. I also love that they did like a real callback to Wild Things in this episode. Like,
Yes.
they're just bringing in all the teen dramas that you love and respect.
And that we love and respect and adore. This is a fun show. Look, I know it's sort of like we're gushing about it. And no, we're not saying this is The Wire. Nor do we want it to be.
But this is what we need right now.
This is what we need in our lives. And it's what you need in yours, I would say. I would question.
But we want to know, are you guys still watching? And what do you think? Who do you think is doing it? Where is this thing going? Please let us know in the comments below. Tweet us your incredible theories, because those are rocking our world. And of course, you can always click here for more Screen Junkies.